So the idea with, again, with today's presentation is that I wanted to go through the basics of analytics with ActiveDEMAND. I think that you guys have already been said that you've been using dashboards, but we'll get into some specifics on that and how to improve those using the widgets, scheduled email reports, and some best practices as well. First, the first question that I think that you should be asking when you're thinking about reporting is that who needs reporting from marketing? If you're a marketing agency, this is typically the client, either the stakeholder that you have, the point of contact. Sometimes the CEO wants to see some data. If you're in-house, you may need to report to sales, or you should be reporting to sales to kind of improve that sales to marketing connection and integration. And then the last one is other people in marketing or other people in the team. These are all very different people. They have very different needs in terms of what you report to them as well. And then the other thing you need to ask is, what kind of questions do we need these reports to answer? Because I would really recommend not just reporting for the sake of reporting, because any information can be misinterpreted. And if you're sending too much information to non-experts, they will come to their own conclusions. And that's really like a big risk of over-reporting, or reporting to the wrong people, or reporting the wrong information to the wrong people. So some example questions you might want to answer with reporting is marketing producing results? This is a high-level question. It's one that you may want to ask of your, present to your CEO, to your clients. And this is a really super important one to answer, because if the answer is no, you lose your job. So we want to make sure that we know the answer to that one, and we can confidently talk about it. The next one, are we seeing some seasonality? We're in the middle of summer right now. Some of our customers are seeing leads slowing down, or they might want to know, hey, it feels slow on sales. Is our leads slowing down? Is marketing slowing down? So I think it's important for marketing to be clear on that. Otherwise, again, people will make up their own stories on what they believe. What channels and partnerships are working the best? Channels is a really important one. If you're a marketing agency working for a client, and you're say responsible for running Google Ads, you want to be able to show, hey, Google Ads is delivering results, and here's how we know that. If you're in-house, you'll want to show, especially some of those expensive new campaigns that you're running, or the ones that you spent a lot of time on. How are they doing, and are they producing results? What should marketing work on next? Again, I would never want to ask this question of someone who's not an expert, or someone whose opinion I don't want on it. So I wouldn't ask this question typically of like a CEO or a VP of a different group. Instead, this is more of like an inward kind of a question I'd want to ask. I'd want marketing to be thinking about this. I'd want the marketing team to be thinking about this, and really identifying where the next big opportunities are is one of the things that reporting should do, and should at least provide a hint towards. Now that we know all that, I want to talk about what reporting ActiveDEMAND is the best at, because it's not the best at all reporting. I'll give you some examples. ActiveDEMAND is not the best at website usage reporting. Google Analytics is. Google Analytics is a fantastic package. It's free, can't beat it, but we integrate with it. Another example would be if you're looking at brand awareness marketing KPIs. There's some better platforms out there for that kind of thing. Now, what is ActiveDEMAND the best at? In my opinion, direct response marketing KPIs. Direct response is like lead generation, or resume, people applying for jobs, or like countable things that you can see. You perform X marketing, you want to see Y result. ActiveDEMAND is fantastic for reporting on that, because you can filter so much, and because it does such a good job of tracking conversions. Another thing that it's the best at, filter data. Like Google Analytics has some pretty good filtering in it, but ActiveDEMAND just has a lot more filters that you can apply on. And because they're de-anonymized, you can spot check the filters to see if they're doing what you think that they should be doing. So for those reasons, ActiveDEMAND is really the bee's knees at marketing KPIs, at those like real meaty direct response KPIs, that I think that a lot of marketers want to know more about and want to be able to provide, because really this is a very solid connection between marketing and the results you want to see from marketing. Just getting into a little bit of jargon here, just because we just need to cover this if we're going to get into reporting. Some of the different metrics and what they mean. A visit is a website visit. A conversion inside ActiveDEMAND can mean a lot of things. And really, if you're familiar with Google Analytics, you might want to treat a conversion in ActiveDEMAND like you would an event in Google Analytics, because there are so many things that could potentially throw a conversion. Goal completions is a little bit better, and you can see that this kind of filters down, right? Our metrics get better the closer they get to the sale. So a visit is pretty far from a sale, but as we go down this list, we start getting a little bit closer to that sale. New lead is a very good one. If you send leads to a sales distribution list inside ActiveDEMAND, one of the metrics you're going to get is sales ready lead. That one was emailed to sale. I really like that one because it's the easiest one to report on, the easiest one to set up, and it means something, because usually you've got some filtering on it before you email sales. You don't want to send any old lead, any old garbage to sales. So because it's filtered down a little bit, this is usually pretty good quality. If you have corporate marketer, or if you have a claimed lead process set in place, the claimed lead is fantastic. What that means is that we emailed a lead to sales, and sales looked at the lead and said, yep, this is a good one. I'm going to call these people. I'm going to claim them. They click a button that says claim. And the reason that this is good, this is third-party validation. Really, this is sales saying that, yes, this lead is good. Marketing, you've done a good job. So that's a really good one. And then the last one there, if you've hooked up ActiveDEMAND with your CRM, or if you manually put deals won into ActiveDEMAND, you can actually report on deals closed. And that like a closed sale and the revenue from that sale really is the best metric. But like again, with most customers, they won't have that set up, so we may not be able to rely on that best case metric, and we might have to instead rely on sales ready leads or one of those easier ones. So these are some examples of some metrics and what they mean. There are some other metrics that are specific to each of the different channels. So for example, on email's got its own set of metrics that they use. So emails sent is just like the raw number that are sent out. And then you have opens, and opens are when people open the email. Unique opens is probably a little bit more interesting. One thing that you see in people's timelines with email opens, they open the same email multiple times. And really, this depends on their email client. Some of them with Outlook, they could just like click on the preview and then go off and then go back to preview, and each of those counts as an open. So that's not a super useful metric if you're looking at the overall performance of a campaign. So really, that's where you might want to use unique open. And then if Bob opens up his email 3 or 4 times, we only ever count that as one. We got one unique open. Bob opened it. Fantastic. Move on, and we can move on from there. Same thing happens with unique clicks. It's unique per contact there as well. Again, conversions is that fairly, it's kind of interesting, but at the same time not super duper interesting. And then we have unsubscribes, people who've unsubscribed from the email, and then bounces, where we have emailed and the email server has responded saying like, hey, this email doesn't exist, or some other error similar to that. So these are some of the email specific ones. You can see them in a couple of different places. I'm going to show you a couple of them right now in terms of drill down reports and widgets. This kind of terminology we're just going to introduce and show you what the differences are. A drill down report is kind of like a deep dive. This is a report that you'd get to by going to the reports area of ActiveDEMAND, or by clicking on a widget drill down button. These take up the whole page, so it's not something you can put into an email or put into a dashboard. They're really good for like if you want to spot check form fills. If you have like a survey that you're sending out and you want to see what people are filling in, a report on the form is a good way of doing this. There's also a really great report that's on drip campaigns that's super useful for optimizing them. Drip campaigns or nurture campaigns are like multi emails that you send out on a periodic basis, and you can see how many participants there are in it, what stages they've opened the emails at, where they're at, what the response rates are of all those different emails. So you can see this with the example I've got here. There's a lot of steps in it, so it's pretty complicated. But even so, this is something that I can take a look at, and I can start to optimize this campaign or figure out which stages are doing particularly well or particularly poorly. And I think that's important when you're looking at these drip campaigns and how to optimize them. Incidentally, one drip campaign. I'm gonna go down a rabbit hole here for just a second. A drip campaign that's really good to set up for clients or for yourself is a periodic survey of customers, because you don't have to remember to do it quarterly or yearly. You could just add them to the drip campaign and have it automatically survey them every quarter or every year. So I'd really recommend doing that. And we have a blog post on the ActiveDEMAND blog that goes through how to build one of those. Highly recommend it. This is another good example of just an email report. You can see top level KPIs on the top there in terms of sent, open, link clicks, conversions, unsubscribes, and then we can see the drill down data in the bottom there, where we can actually download the rows of data in there or take a look at some of the other information. So again, just another example of a drill down report. Now, widgets are like tiny little reports that you can embed into a page. You could have one that takes up the whole page, or you could have more than one that takes up a page. These are used in dashboards, they're used in scheduled emails, and these are pretty handy. You can use like a bunch of filtered widgets to make up one theme or one really tight little area on a specific idea, so you can report on an idea. So an example that you could use to filter this down is you can actually use the filter in the bottom there. You see what is that little filter icon on that widget. When you use those and you can filter again by contact segment, you can really tighten up the information that you receive on them. So definitely look to see which ones you can segment, because segmenting them down really, I guess you could say it like you could build it by theme. So on this one, the example theme here, I have leads last 30. I could say new leads for the last 30 days from Canada, new leads from the last 30 days for the Platinum package, new leads from the last 30 days from Google AdWords. These are all examples of how I could segment this specific widget to make it very specific to an idea or a theme. Just some more examples here. This is a phone call keywords one. You can see we have some different settings on them, that kind of thing as well. So these widgets are fantastic for creating dashboards and really building like a really tight report on one theme in one place. Now, when we get into dashboards, there's a couple of interesting things with them. Dashboards are made up with widgets. You can use tabs to separate the themes. These are unique per user, so you can customize them for each different sales user or manager or whoever, which person you need to build these things for. They look like this. This is an example that's showing one widget, one big widget in the middle, and you can see we have different tabs with other themes or ideas that are all kind of collected together. And here's another example. This might be what you see when you first log in. That widget on the top is just kind of this general creation one. Generally, like if you're a power user, you may want to and you've already been using the platform for a while, you might just want to pull that out and keep your dashboard tight to reporting. But other people really like that top widget that includes all of those in there. Some example themes that you might want to put in a dashboard tab. These are all just different examples of themes that you might want to report on. So digital ad performance, social, upcoming campaigns, website performance, phone calls, drip campaign performance, or high-level KPIs. These are all dashboard tabs you can do. Appointments is another one. So these are all different things that you can kind of like theme around. As an example, On high-level KPIs, you could choose what you want to report on. Generally, with a high-level KPIs dashboard that I would create, I would use the best quality KPI, and I would keep it simple. And the reason why I want to keep it simple, generally these high-level KPI reports, we got to think about what question we're asking and who's asking it. If this has to go to a client or a CEO or someone, the biggest question that I want to answer is marketing working? Is the investment that they're putting into my department, into the ad spend, into the retainer, is it having value? So I want to keep it simple. I want to keep it just to that. And really, when it comes to that, it may just be, here's how many leads we got you, here's where the leads came from. And that's it. Just nice and simple. You could potentially put a trend in there. You could potentially do last 30 compared to the previous time frame, but really that's up to you. Again, I would recommend keeping these simple because more widgets, more data on here, when I give it to an uneducated audience, could just result in really dumb insights from other people that I'm not interested in. Another one might be website performance. And here's where we can start to pull in information from Google Analytics. So we're going to have some really good KPIs in ActiveDEMAND that we can pull from the website. But then there's also this possibility of kind of merging that with Google Analytics, because again, Google Analytics is going to have some really good website data that that is presented in some really interesting ways. So the way that I like to use these is in Google Analytics widgets. These widgets they're kind of a custom data widget. So there's a bunch of different custom data widgets that we have in ActiveDEMAND. We've got specific ones for Google Ads, Facebook. You can use Google Sheets if you want to report on basically anything. And these are really good for kind of merging that data or the ideas of AD along with Google Analytics. That's what those two mean, AD and GA. And when you build these, you go into your report widget library, you choose your data source, Google Analytics in this case, and you would pull these out and add them to your ActiveDEMAND dashboards. Because you can filter the goals inside Google Analytics, these are really going to make a very interesting power play. So this is actually steps. Step one, ActiveDEMAND, inside ActiveDEMAND, you have these really well filtered conversions. We send those to Google Analytics using an event or using some other goal completion to Google Analytics. Inside Google Analytics, we can set goals based on those conversions, and we can arrange this data in very interesting ways in terms of building these widgets out inside, again, Google Analytics. And then ActiveDEMAND can import relevant data and reporting back in from Google Analytics. Now, this is particularly powerful because a lot of agencies and a lot of marketers are experts with Google Analytics. You guys know that platform really well. So you may be able to do things in Google Analytics very easily and then want to say, okay, well, I want to get this all into a scheduled email. And really the way to do that is to build one of these Google Analytics widgets, pull that information back into ActiveDEMAND, and then consolidate your reporting and push out to your clients. So very interesting way of doing it. We do have a video on how to build these things if you are interested, and I have a link to it at the end. The next one is scheduled email reports, and few people are using these right now. I would say that scheduled email reports are really good for reporting to VPs, reporting to bosses, CEOs, that kind of thing. People that need the information may not read it. Like the thing with VPs and CEOs, they're probably not going to log in to see a dashboard. So you could create like this wicked dashboard for them. They're never going to look in. They're never going to log into it and check it out. Maybe they do like once or twice. So really the thing we need to do with them is we need to force feed them this information using a scheduled email report. I'm going to show you two examples here. One's for sales and one's for marketing. These reports are much larger than I'm showing here, but and I've had to scrub the data, so they're not super interesting. But the one on the left is for sales. And this is a report that we build to send out to our salespeople. It shows unclaimed leads. It shows trials that haven't been called. It shows new account activations. It shows all the information that sales would be interested in, and a little bit that I'm interested in, because again, sales and marketing are very close. It should be very close. and I need to know if sales is doing their job, and they need to see how many leads I'm delivering. So this report kind of covers both of our bases. Now the report on the right is a marketing report. That's for people in marketing, and the questions I want that to answer, same questions, is it working? So how many trials are we delivering? And the other things that I'm interested in would be on a per channel basis. Is social delivering? Is paid delivering? Is SEO delivering? Is email delivering? And I can dive into each of these different channels and just kind of track them from a high level perspective and see how they're doing. So these scheduled email reports should be used to clue in the people that are needed. And again, even though I have a dashboard that has all sorts of cool information on it, I still use scheduled emails even for myself and for marketing, because we need to get this information on a consistent basis. That's kind of nice to very quickly go back in time just by looking at past reports and seeing what's going on. You build these emails out inside just the general content builder inside ActiveDEMAND, and you can see here that there's widgets on the right hand side, and you drop them into the email on the left, and it's very easy to build these things out. One thing to take note of is that there's a couple different places where you can set the date or the time range that the report is working on. You can set it on the widget level, and you can set it on the report level. So you'll need to think about that. Do I want this widget to be last 30 days, or do I want it to be fixed in time? So you'll have to think about some of those questions as you're going through and building these things. So just to kind of wrap things up and get towards some best practices, really, I would use dashboards for marketing people, dashboard for marketing people, because dashboards provide up-to-date information, and widgets. Some of the widgets you can dive into a drill down report from the widget. So that like really for marketing, that's the best place to be. You can see, oh, trials are down. I wonder why. Click on the widget, drill down. Oh, it looks like we're getting less leads from paid. Okay, now I'm going to take a look at paid. What's going on with our Google Ads? And it can really get you to the place you need to go very quickly. Whereas for stakeholders, I would do just a scheduled email report. I'd include appropriate information for them, and I'd keep it simple. I'm not going to go too in depth with reporting to stakeholders, because again, too much information to stakeholders means that you're leaving it up to them to interpret. And the other thing that I think too few people do, too few marketers, too few agencies do this, is ad hoc information periodically. This is like little nuggets of insights that you get. And these are, I don't know, I think these are more interesting in the grand scheme of things. This can kind of democratize marketing, if you will. The way that I would do it, and the way I have done it, is I would, every once in a while, when you get an interesting lead, a high quality lead, I'd dive into the contact activity timeline to tell a lead story, to tell the client, to tell the CEO, to tell everyone in the company about a particular marketing thing that happened. Because that contact activity timeline is super interesting. It can tell you, and this example here is from this morning. It can tell you how a lead came in and what finally the straw that broke the camel's back. So in this case, with this particular prospect, we've been trying to get a hold of them for a while, and the thing that got them in was this webinar. This webinar was the first thing that they did with us, and I can see how they browsed through the website, how they registered for the webinar, and then how they signed up for a trial as well. So this is and this person, whoever this anonymous person is, is on the webinar today. So this is an example of something that I would share internally to show how marketing is delivering, or show how a particular channel is delivering. So, for example, if I wanted to justify webinars, I have my justification here. I should send this out to the rest of the company. Say, hey, you know those webinars we do every once in a while? Here's a cool lead that we got in they found the website through this, they browsed around and they registered for a webinar and they also signed up for a trial. Isn't that neat? Isn't this a cool little story? And everyone can understand that and they can say, oh, webinars, we got to keep doing those because we got this fellow in today. So it's a very easy to understand way, and I think that ad hoc reporting in this manner is underutilized and is a very easy to understand thing that I think more people should be doing with their customers. Further learning on this, there's a couple of different places you might want to take a look at. Engage.activedemand.com is our support portal. That's going to have all of the support information. Learn.activedemand.com is our LMS, our learning management system. That's where you can actually get certified as an active demand expert. We've got a couple of different videos that are related to this. We've got creating custom marketing widgets in ActiveDEMAND. And we've also got reports in the report scheduler as a video. Incidentally, if you know of a video or if there's a particular topic that you feel is not addressed well in our support and you think that a video would be a good match for it, just let us know. Like reach out to us, either your account manager, support person, Twitter, smoke signals, any way that you can get a hold of us, and we'd be happy to build some additional resources for you out there. So definitely check out those support resources and let us know if there's anything else that we should be delivering.